Good morning, everybody. It's Friday, September 2nd, right before Labor Day weekend, and it's time for us to do another update of everything Venetian Isles related. I know it's been a little bit of a while since we spoke. I think it's actually over a month, which is unusual, but there has been nothing but chaos here. Every time we try to do a video, something else pops up that we got to take care of. So in the meantime, let's get to it because I actually have a meeting in another 20 minutes. So the first thing to look at is the last time you were in the lobby, the front desk was not done. It was basically a wood structure. It's still not finished. However, a lot of the stonework is on, so you get a feeling of what it's going to look like when it's finished. Today's video is not going to show you a lot of progress that you can actually physically look at and get excited about, but there are a lot of infrastructure things that have been done and taking place that are necessary for us to get to the finish line. We're going to take a walk for 2 seconds down towards the restaurant area, snack bar, grill, whatever we're calling it these days, area, so you can see something that would not be apparent to the naked eye if I didn't point it out to you as a change that's happened in the last few days, but it is important for us to get our CO. So let's take a walk, Lynthia. Follow me down the hall. So there are a few changes in here. We're just going to keep walking, keep following me. A few changes in here that don't seem that important, but the glass has finally come in for this pass-through for the open-air kitchen. This way you can see through and see what's going on in the kitchen. Everything's prepared fresh for you when you eat. It took quite a while to get. Over here, on this side, it's covered up right now, but the beautiful countertops have been installed, the solid stone for the pass-through for your service area, for you to place your orders and pick stuff up like that. Again, you can see the glasses here. It's got to be clean because it's all marked up. We're going to go inside the kitchen, though, which we've not done before. We're trying to work, we keep talking about the TCO and the CO. The TCO is a temporary certificate of occupancy, and that's important to us because once we get the TCO, we can actually start putting furniture and the pool tables and all the stuff we have stored in warehouses all over the damn country into the building. We can't do that till we get the TCO. The difference between the TCO and the CO is the CO, Certificate of Occupancy, allows the building department and everybody to leave and say, okay, you're good forever now, just keep on going about your business. The TCO, we can't get that until we actually get rid of every life safety issue that exists in the building. So that would include things like smoke alarms, fire sprinklers, things that someone could get hurt on. 90% of those things are finished and have been finished for a long time. One of the things that's holding us up is the ventilation system for the cooking area. If you look up here, they've cut the holes now through the cinder blocks for where the exhaust system is going to go. And there's a corresponding hole back here if you come into the back of this second area. Up there, that's all been cut out and prepped because the actual ductwork and everything has been manufactured at this point. If you look at the county website, you can see the permits are all in process for this. You would say, well, why wasn't this done ages ago? Well, it's just like everything else in the world right now. You can sign all the contracts in the world, but if the people don't show up to do the work, you can beg and plead and do whatever you want, but you can't do very much until it actually happens. So the good news is the 3 permits are in. They're in the process of being approved. There was one fly in the ointment today about something about the sizing of the actual hood itself, but we will deal with that within the next day to push those permits along. The manufacture of this stuff has taken place. It is supposed to arrive Thursday. I'll believe it when I see it, just like everything else in the world right now. For the folks that haven't seen this room before, you're probably wondering what this is. And when you're wandering around Venetian Isles and making use of all the nice amenities, you'll probably never ever come back here. This area is basically the prep area, the storage, the refrigerated storage, and the dishwashing area, and the area for receiving goods. So this is the behind the scenes of what you're going to see out here, which is your actual open air kitchen where all your food will be prepped and it'll be put up here to be either picked up or served to you, and the takeout window down there if people choose to use that instead of coming in to order their food for when you want to eat outside or by the pool. Again, some of this is redundant. It doesn't look like a lot of changes, but there have been some significant changes. They're also doing all the low voltage wiring and stuff that will make the system run, that actually allows you to place orders and for the food orders to go to the right places so they're prepared and cooked. So again, not a lot of visual difference than the last time, but these things are being done and are necessary for us to get the CO. While we're here, I'm actually going to go out this door behind us because a lot of you folks play pickleball, and I know that everybody related to pickleball has been asking us to resurface the pickleball courts, and we intend to do that as soon as it's practical. So we have been talking to the folks from Fast Dry Pickleball Courts about doing this. There's no urgency to get it done, and the reason we don't want to get it done right this second and we keep pushing it off month after month is because if you step out here, again, most of you are never going to see this area. This is the staging area for the food and cleaning mops, and this is going to be the refrigeration. Until the landscaping is into this area and this area is finished, it's not practical for us to put the resurfacing on the new pickleball courts, because all the dust and debris that's going to be raised from this work is going to destroy the brand new pickleball court resurfacing that we do. So as soon as this area is to the point where the pool fence is in, where the landscaping is in, where this walk-in box is built, and all of that, that's when we will do the pickleball resurfacing. Fast Dry Courts has been on notice for ages and ages that we're going to do it. They know we want to do it, and they agree. It makes perfect sense not to put a brand new finish when you're going to have all these dust particles and things flying in the air to destroy what we're paying for. So it's not that we don't want to do it. We do want to do it, and it is going to happen, but that's the update on when that's going to happen. Let's go back in the building for a sec, I guess. All right, we will take a gander out at the pool and talk about that in a few moments. We're going to walk upstairs right now. You may even want to shut that off for a sec. Let's go take a walk up towards the the bar area. All right, so now we're upstairs in the lobby at the bar, cocktail lounge, sports bar, whatever you want to call this area. And we're going to show you some of the progress that's gone on here. As you can see, the back bar has been changed so that it accommodates the televisions. Originally the plan is the televisions were going over there, but the way the designer designed it, that did not make sense. The shelves were too high, you couldn't reach anything up there, and honestly the lights looked ridiculous with the mirrors behind them. So we made changes to that so it now functions a lot better. There will be glass shelves going in here. You see that it's backlit, no more reflection from the mirrors anymore. And you'll have 4 different TVs up here to watch all the sports are on. They do tilt. There is an area here. They were designed so that when you're sitting at the bar you can see perfectly, or when you're sitting back in this conversation area you can still see perfectly and without a lot of glare from those windows that are up there. Something else I will share with you that's not apparent and probably doesn't matter to most people, but you wonder to yourself, if we're going to have all this liquor and glasses and cash registers and things out here, how are we going to keep it safe and secure at night? Well, rather than paying people to come in an hour ahead of time and stay an hour after we close and always incurring additional expenses, what we did is designed behind these panels are actually gates that come across that lock the place up. Similar to what you see at a Hudson News or something like that in the airport. When they close up a venue at the airport, you just close it up, you lock it, and it's all safe and secure. So people can still use this area. We don't have to close it off even when the bar is not open. We're going to step outside for a second to look at the pool and talk a little bit about the swimming pools. Do we have something to prop this door open? Because I'm not sure. I'm going to go out and see if it opens. During the day, a lot of times they have it open. No. All right, so we have to find something to prop it open. Pause for a second. Okay, now we're out on the upper deck outside of the bar overlooking the pool. A couple of things we have going on here. We've all talked about this beautiful pergola that's coming, that's going to provide shade and wind protection and everything while people are out here. This thing is another vendor that has been nothing but a problem. If they ever saw the video, I'm sure they wouldn't be happy, but the reality is this was supposed to be done and finished about 9 months ago. It is in process. If you look on the county website with the permitting, there's a few issues with it that they are supposedly resolving. We talk to them constantly on a daily basis, and there's always some other excuse, but they have assured us it is coming. If it does not come before we need to get the CO, in order for us to get the CO, we actually have to put a canopy over this area here to extend out 8 feet in order to make sure that when there's wind and rain and things like that, the water does not blow in the doors onto the carpet. So that is on our original design plans. This pergola and everything is being permitted separately. Why do I bring this up? Well, I can't get a TCO without one of these two things arriving. And this particular item is a $15,000 expense, which in my opinion and the board's opinion is, if we spend $15,000 to do that, only to tear it down later to do this, that's really wasted money, which is why it has not been ordered. We are very close to the deadline, though, where we're going to have to order that and just put it in and deal with the consequences of not being able to put this pergola up before the building finishes, because our goal really is to get you in the building as fast as we can and to stop the financial bleeding of having this thing continue to run on unnecessarily. So there's nobody that is more anxious to get this place open than management and your board. Believe you me, that's the main goal that we're all working toward. It's a top priority. Let's take a look at the pools. Not a lot has changed since our last video on the pools, but I'm sure you've all heard through the rumor mill about the fact that we had to replace the pumps in the resistance pool. Now, most people would say, well, why didn't you know about that ahead of time? Well, the pumps and everything were functioning when we shut down. But as you know, this pool had a very big leak in it. You saw how long it took to fix it. You can't run a pump when there's no water in it, or else it will burn up. So what happened is we finally got it to the point where we can use it. They turned on the pumps, which are very strong pumps and numerous pumps because of the current that's in that resistance pool, only to find that, guess what, your 20-year-old pumps that have been sitting not being used for a couple of years because there's no water in the pool because it was busted, had to be replaced. They would have had to been replaced anyway. They're 20 years old, but it's certainly not an expense that we were wanting to incur right now with all these other expenses that are going on. The good news is that from what I understand, 2 of them did arrive. They're going to be installed this weekend, and that's going to help us move along. We're waiting for another pump for the spa, which has been ordered for ages. A lot of you have heard all the scuttlebutt about these ladders that were taking forever to come. People said they were coming from Italy and silly stuff like that. They were coming from inside the United States. They are here, so that is no longer a problem. So this is all moving along. You can see the structure over here of your canopies for shade, the shade areas. It is anticipated that new coverings will go on those. They are probably going to be in a blue color scheme to the best of my recollection, so that it complements the place instead of adding more of the neutral gray. The blue will make them pop. We're certainly not going to have the old terracotta. They are in the process of being cleaned up, painted, removing the rust and things like that. And the company to take care of the awnings, we've been in touch with them, we've spoken to them. Those should come. Again, they should not hold up our certificate of occupancy for the building or the pool. The perimeter fence, you've all heard about the fence issues, I'm sure. with the pool situation. The plans have been done by the civil engineers. We have approved the design of all the landscaping and the fence that it meets the requirements of the project. Everybody involved has signed off on that. We are waiting for them to get the final stamp of approval so they can be submitted for permitting. But the company that is building the fence has already been contracted to source the materials and get it done. So that fence should not hold us up. That should get here relatively soon. Once again, I've said 9 million times, more likely than not, the pool, even if it's finished, is not going to get open until the building's open because of the proximity to the construction site. We're certainly going to try to get the approval, but I would not hold my breath for that happening until the building's done. Let's go shut this off for a sec. We're going to go downstairs again and take another tour of the other end of the building. Okay, so we didn't get to the other end of the building, and it occurred to me I need to show you something else. Again, it doesn't seem like something big, but if I were a homeowner living here, all I'd be saying to myself is, what the hell is taking so long to get this thing done? They can build a brand new shopping center or a school and get it open in less time than we do. One of those reasons, and the primary driver of all of this, is because we're trying to work with an old building that was not designed to today's standards, and we're trying to expand it and incorporate all these things that were really never designed to do. Why are we doing that? Well, on paper, your architects, your engineers, and even your designers, it's very easy on paper to draw drawings that work. However, there's a very big difference in making those drawings work in the field with the realities that exist in the field. So let's take a look at one of these things. It's not that important, but it's actually pretty huge. When you walk into this is the emergency staircase that goes down from the upstairs mezzanine level bar to the lobby. If you watch the other videos, I'm not sure at that time, but this floor and everything was already done. It was covered in vinyl. It was basically the finished product. And it had to be all ripped up and redone because at the end of the day, when the designers and everybody designed this, they did not design for us to do this baseboard along the side. What they had was they had this cockamamie, for lack of a better word, vinyl that matched the floors that was going to go up the sides. When they came to install it, now mind you, this is not any Tom, Dick, and Harry that are doing this. These are professional companies that we've hired to do the installation because they're all licensed, insured, we have warranties, all kinds of stuff. They came to do the work and they said there is no way to do that because being concrete stairs, they're not all perfectly symmetrical. So you can't cut a template for these stringers on the side out of vinyl and expect it to all work. You'd have to do them one by one by one and then glue it to the wall, and it would look like shit, excuse my French. So I'm like, you can't have this thing even though it's an emergency exit. You see it from standing at the front desk of the lobby. So what had to happen, we went back to the designer. I'm like, what the hell did you do? Forget about this? Blank stairs. And at the end of the day, well, what do you want to do? Well, I can't carpet it. I would love to carpet it because then I could kill the sound that's in here. But I can't carpet it because then all the risers would not pass inspection because they would be off because of the height of the carpet. Cut to the chase of it. I know I can talk forever. The reality is it all had to be ripped out. We didn't pay a dime for it because this is all on designer mistakes. We had to have all this installed. We then had to rip off all the glue, re-level all this, and now the stairs are going to get done finally. That added at least a month of time to something that was already done. You're having these things in reoccurring areas because that's just the nature of the beast nowadays. And a lot of it is because we're trying to do this on blueprints that were made, incorporating an old building, and some things that quite honestly by the architect, the decorator, and people like that, they did not take into account more than what was on their drawings. It's great to make a drawing, but if you can't physically build it because you're trying to attach it to an existing building, that's where most of the problems have come up. So my apologies for the lengthy delay, but I think you need to understand that because I know if I were in your shoes, I'd be saying, what the hell's going on here? People don't know what they're doing. That's not really the case at all. Okay, let's shut this off till we go to the next spot. Okay. Hey Herb, how you doing? All right, so we're walking down the hallway and I'm trying to figure out what else we should show you that has happened. Again, probably doesn't seem significant, but the actual wallpaper for this, it's not wallpaper, the mural, the artistic mural in the arts and crafts room arrived and was installed. As you can see, it's got a lot of energy, a lot of movement, and a modern vibe to it to keep things away from that 55 and over community and into a highly energetic place that there's a lot of positive stuff going on. Let's walk down the hallway because we're going to take a look at the changes in the social hall. The biggest changes in the social hall is actually that the drapes for the stage have arrived. The large movie screens for movie night have been installed. The wing walls have started to go up. The backdrops have started to go up. Lynthia, help me out here. Oh, the sound system is in. The sound system is amazing. You can take a look. Pan over to those speakers up there. This place is basically wired for sound to the point where you could have a rock concert in here and people will hear it at the fitness center and beyond. So everything that was done is being done state of the art. You can't really see the curtains right now. We can go up on the stage and show them the color of them. There's been a lot going on. If you pan around, come on in and pan around to the sound room. You can see as we speak, the low voltage wiring and things like that are going on up in the sound room so that you will actually be able to control everything from a legitimate sound and lighting control booth rather than what we used to have in the corner of the room. You have, like I said, the sound, the lighting is coming in, the projection TV is going in, and this movie screen, instead of the old movie screen that you used to have that looked like what you used to use in your basement when your parents were showing home movies, you now have one that literally takes up the whole width of the stage. We're going to walk up on the stage so you can see the size of that, and you'll get to see what the color of the curtains look like. I can't close them right now because they have not passed inspection for the installation yet, so the motorized parts are not hooked up. That'll happen as soon as it's been inspected. So let's take a walk up here. I'm trying to do this quickly. All right, so we're on the stage. Again, unless you're part of the theatrical productions, which many of you like to be involved in, you can see the dressing rooms have started to come together. There are, I don't know, I'm going to see if the lights are on or able to go on in there or not. Yes, so come take a look. The dressing rooms, you see there's a big space. There's a place for two people to do their makeup and stuff. There's going to be racks for people to hang their costumes and things like that. So you have multiples of that. And then if you go right behind you, behind the wall, is what the drapes look like for the theater. They are a pewter, steel, silvery gray kind of color to pull out the accent colors in the carpet and things like that, rather than the red velvet ones we used to have. I can't spend much more time on today's video because I'm already late for a meeting, but I did want to share with you a few things. One is in reference to the entrance fountain. We are 100% aware that that thing looked completely ridiculous, like a bomb was going off while the water was shooting all over the place. I'm not sure why the vendor chose to leave it on, but we did call them and we said, listen, just go shut the damn thing off until it's fixed. What we were doing was the ring that was in there that was 20 years old was going to be $16,000 to replace it in brass. Instead of replacing it in brass, we had them replace the jets that come up with PVC pipe. They initially came and did it and everything was fine, but we said it did not have the force that it needed to have in order to make an impact and look as beautiful as the fountain looked years ago. So they needed another part to get the water to shoot to the right place. As of this morning, it looks much better than it did. You will see the water is now coming out of the top, flowing over the bowls, back into the pool, underneath, and the jets are going up appropriately. So we are aware. There's a lot of times I don't have the time or ability to tell you everything that's going on, but believe me, we drive past everything, we see everything, we know what's going on. That doesn't mean don't stop calling us. We always appreciate when you give us feedback and tell us things that we may or may not see. But that obviously was being worked on. A more robust renovation of the whole front entrance will be done once the building is done, dealing with things like the decaying of the faux stone paper. We're working on that. Keep in mind, again, we did not pay for that, so we can't very well go make a warranty claim on something that we never paid for because we didn't like it when it went up. It was a temporary fix. So that is being dealt with. What else? We'll come back and do another video in a couple of days. I promise you it won't be as long as this time. When is the pool going to open? When is the building going to open? Your guess is as good as mine because I cannot commit to something I have no control over. Is it sooner than later? It's absolutely sooner than later. I was hoping for October so we could get the staff in and trained before we got busy at Thanksgiving time. The last date that I got, and don't put this in stone, was December 18th based on the contractor's timeline of when things could possibly be done. We're shooting and they're shooting for trying to get us it before Thanksgiving. Again, I'm not making you any promises, folks, because the stuff that's happening, I have no control over that any more than you guys have a control over. It all has to do with the world we're currently living in. So I'm just telling you what the real story is. I don't expect you to like it. I don't have a magic wand. I wish I did. Believe me, I want you in here as fast as possible so we can start enjoying all of this and honestly stop paying the construction overhead on something we're not using. So on a good note, I want you all to have a happy and healthy and safe Labor Day weekend. Try to enjoy life. This will get here when it gets here. Keep it in perspective. Enjoy your weekend.